Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Hello. Happy birthday, Kendall. Happy birthday. People can hear us. Hi. Thank you, everybody. Take a shot. Happy Monday, everybody. Look at them. Look. Good morning. Hello, Coon Rapids. Hello, Anoka. Hello, Andover. Welcome to the show. Brand new week, brand new month. Get a cup of coffee. Let's have some fun. Have a seat, everybody. Have a seat. Let's get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Brand new month since last we spoke. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my sidekick sister. It's Miss Kendall, everybody. Hello, Kendall.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
How was your weekend? How was your weekend?
Great. My sister had a pageant she was in, and she won a title, which was great. So she's going on to be Miss Minnesota. It's like the Miss America pageant, not Miss USA that Ted does.
Got it.
So you have to have a crown.
Now let's be clear, Ted's not in the Miss America pageant. I mean, he judges the thing.
So she now in June gets to try to be Miss Minnesota.
Oh,
for the
nice.
Miss America pageant. Yeah. So that was really fun.
Congratulations.
Yes, that was great. So that was fun. I think I pulled a muscle in my calf from working out.
Oh, you pulled a muscle in your calf?
I think so.
Are you able to walk? Should I? Do I need to help you around?
I was like gimping. It's kind of funny. It hurts, but this is what happens when you work out. You just like hurt yourself.
I know. That's why don't do physical activity.
No.
That's right. Sedentary. Well, if you need help, Kenny's here. Intern Kenny can help you move around if you need anything.
Thank
That's
God.
right. Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm sorry that you're injured because I have bad news for you.
Oh.
Yeah. This morning, ABC revealed the next Bachelorette. Ooh. And it's a bit of a surprise, and Kendall's not happy. Instead of choosing a contestant from the current season, which they normally do, they picked Claire Crawley, the runner-up. Oh, wow, the audience. Oh, wow. The runner-up in Juan Pablo's season back 6 years ago. Since then, Claire has appeared on a few other Bachelor-esque spinoffs. She will be the oldest Bachelorette ever, 39 years old when the show starts filming. She's 38 now, and she'll be 39. I don't like age jokes. I'm not, but this is a first. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts?
My thoughts have nothing to do with her age, other than I've heard from a reliable source who also happens to love The Bachelorette, Shane, that they've had to do some recasting of the people who were going to be the men because they were like 23-year-olds and they were like, you're too young, sorry.
Yeah.
This is weird.
They're all Kenny's age, for heaven's sake. Yeah, right.
My issue more is if they can't find someone from the current season, which I get, but maybe you should have picked Kelly. There were other Bachelorettes from other seasons that they could have gone with. I'm not sure why we're going back 6 years ago to a woman that I wasn't like super crazy about. She's been on like 3 other spinoffs.
Let me ask you, because I am not a resident of Bachelor Nation.
Right.
Is she dynamic? Is she charismatic? Is she a fan favorite? Why did they go back into that bag?
So Kelly O'Connell and Shane and I kind of all agreed that we really liked her when she very first came on the show in Juan Pablo season. She went nutter butter cuckoo bananas, like she was crazy during that season. Very like high emotional, everyone is terrible, everyone's out to get me. And then she told him off at the end, which was cool, I guess. But then the next subsequent Bachelor spinoff she did, she's just kind of those high drama people that if you want to be with someone more mature, if that's what you're looking for this franchise, I get that, but maybe don't go with someone who's just older, but still like immature.
And let's be clear, Juan Pablo wasn't wonderful. He was a horrible bachelor.
No, but we got Andy out of it, and she was a great bachelorette. So.
Well, there we go. My condolences to you. That's
Thank
right.
you.
Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. Thank you. Enjoy yourself. First up, big changes are coming to daytime TV. After 25 seasons, Judge Judy is done. Kinda. She's not done with TV, though. Judy made the surprising announcement in an interview with Ellen that will air today. Look.
I've had a 25-year-long marriage with CBS, and it's been successful. Next year will be our 25th season, silver anniversary. And CBS, I think, sort of felt they wanted to optimally utilize the repeats of my program because now they have 25 years of reruns. So what they decided to do was to sell a couple of years' worth of reruns. But I'm not tired. So Judy Justice will be coming out.
What?
The year later.
Where?
I can't tell you yet.
Oh.
Oh, okay. That is like a bloomin' onion. We have to really peel away the layers of that crap right there. So basically, let me break this down. Or as my friends Lori and Julia say, let's Hollywood speak this. We're going to get one more year of new Judge Judy episodes next season. So that's the 2021 television season. Then Judy is going to start a new show titled Judy Justice. And that will premiere in the 21-22 television season. What I can gather, and the research team looked at this, Jeff looked at this, there seems to be something hinky. Do you notice that she mentioned CBS a lot? CBS, I don't want to get too in the weeds. CBS distributes and I think they kind of own it. She doesn't own that. CBS, the company, distributes Judge Judy to stations all around the world, including right here in Minneapolis on our station, Fox 9. Something smells hinky. It seems like Judy got to the end of her contract with CBS. Judy wanted more money. CBS was like, nope, we'll just run reruns. And Judy's like, I shall go to another court. And then probably is going to own this new show. She's going to pull an Oprah. She probably is going to own this Judy Justice show. You can't blame her. She currently makes, and I don't know how she lives on this, $47 million a year. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. And look, it's one of the most successful shows other than Oprah and Ellen. It is what they call a great lead-in. Stations love to put Judge Judy before their local newscasts because the ratings, the thinking is the ratings from Judge Judy will go to your, Eyewitness 80 News. You know what I mean? That's the thinking. Doesn't always work, but yeah. Do you watch Judge Judy?
Sometimes it's just on. So my dad's a judge, so I feel like I'm judged all the time. I don't need Judge Judy to tell me things.
Was that hard? Was he strict because he's a judge?
I think he was strict because he was a confirmation teacher. Less 'cause he was a judge.
Okay, there we go.
But,
okay,
yeah, I mean, it's like being the preacher's kid. There's
Yeah.
always the jokes. There's always it's an interesting, but I'm very grateful for it. It's
Yes.
just, of course, I don't watch Judge Judy then.
No,
'cause
you live it. Let's think-
Judge Kevin is at home, and I just ask him.
Exactly. Next in the dish, from one 25-year daytime veteran to another. Oprah brought her WW Vision Tour to Los Angeles this weekend. But the one thing most people are talking about isn't like weight loss it's her stage tumble. Look at this.
And balance doesn't mean all things are equal or at peace at all times.
Yep. The irony is not lost on us that she was talking about balance as she lost her balance. That's right. That's from the LA Times, showing Oprah talking about balance in life when she fell. She blamed herself for wearing the wrong shoes, choosing a more sensible pair for the rest of the show. Look, I'm steeped in, I've watched every Oprah Winfrey show ever. She always complained about her shoes. She had shoes that she would wear for the Oprah show, and then she would immediately change into tennis shoes afterwards. Because, I don't know how women do the high heels. But anyway, it does look like she tripped over that.
Yeah, so again, the floor she's on is called Marley. They have it for dance competitions, which is why I know that. But you have to sort of tape it together.
Okay.
Sort of have to tape it together, but there's a little groove right there. And it looks like her heel gets caught in it, because women know when your heel gets caught in like a porch or something, you kind of do this, and then she just batted after that. So it happens to all of us, and it hurts.
Well, and I gotta tell you,
like that.
Snoop and 50 Cent made fun of her. It's like, will you two grow up? What are we, 15 years old? Get over it. Yeah. Oprah's BFF Gayle King asked about the fall on Instagram. Look at this.
Everybody in the audience could see it. Were you thinking, oh my God, this is embarrassing? Or were you thinking, I'm just going to roll with it?
I didn't even think embarrassing. I just thought, okay, I fell. Everybody knows what falling is. You would prefer not to fall.
Not to fall, yeah.
But now I've fallen. My thing was, I'm falling. I can't get up.
That's right. We all remember that commercial in the 80s. Oprah shared this picture yesterday of herself icing her leg after the fall. Yeah.
They have those at the PT office, so
What?
I don't know how much cost to buy one.
Well,
of those.
if you're Oprah, like I said, executive producer Jeff was judging her, like, isn't that a little over dramatic? It's Oprah. I mean, she's worth I'm surprised the progressive gecko wasn't out there, like, you know, or progressive isn't the gecko, whatever.
Geico.
The Geico, or the duck, the Aflac duck wasn't bringing her the ice. That's how much she's worth, but yeah.
That's
but
true.
Anyway, I feel, Oprah, I love you.
I mean, you always help me off the stage when we leave, and you don't always say it on camera, but it's true because these things, like, they get wobbly, and you just,
I try to be a
happens.
gentleman sometimes. That's right, yes.
It works every time.
Thank you. We have a lot more to come. Go get another cup of coffee, and we'll be back right after this. Stay right there, my friends. More hot dishes coming out of the oven. Next, it is not every day you get to talk to Mark Wahlberg, but today is that day. He's going to join us live to chat about his new Netflix movie. Then we love a great business for and from women. Kendall is taking us to Coven, a new community and workspace for, well, women. And speaking of wonderful ladies, she lost 100 pounds. And part of her inspiration was a magical marathon. Meet the woman who will make you proud and get you motivated to be healthy. That's coming up, so stay right there.
Said Brielle Zolciak recently tweeted out that you and Kim were the best duo ever on Bravo. Do you agree with that statement, and where do you and Kim currently stand?
What a lie, honey.
Yeah.
There's not one. She's right. We're the greatest and the best duo ever. And I've spoken to Kim here and there. We're in a great place. We're always in a great place when we're not working together. When we're working together, we're pulling wigs.
Crazy.
Okay? But we're good. Yeah.
That's, you know what? Nene said a lot right there. Welcome back, Real Housewives of Atlanta star Nene Leakes talking about her on-again, off-again relationship with former Real Housewives of Atlanta co-star Kim Zolciak. You know what I'm going to say. I say this somebody's phone is ringing. I hope it's a prize that somebody's winning. Anyway.
$1 million.
I say this all the time. I would never have a friendship on a show like that because you're pressured to fight. I mean, that show is really about drama and being adversarial.
Right.
And it is destructive. You look, how many friendships have been ruined by the Real Housewives? Bethany and Jill, Nene and well, everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, I would never go on a show with a friend that means something to me.
I know. Well, just reality TV in general. I heard that joke that, like, the Real Housewives of Minnesota, they tried to do it, but we were all too cordial.
Too nice. Yeah, it wouldn't work. More just for you now. A fascinating interview yesterday. I had two, we're going to hear the other one in a little bit. I had two things that people kept coming up to me this weekend to talk about. Something else coming up and this. Yesterday on CBS This Morning, supermodel Paulina Poroskova poured her heart out. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about this because she talked about her battle to stay relevant in the entertainment industry at age 54. Look.
I did one of my, look at me, this is my face without makeup, and I've never used Botox or fillers. And this job that I was up for went, oh, well, we can't use you then.
How do you feel about that stuff?
I used to be kind of judgmental about it. I used to go, oh, you know, I can't believe that everybody's injecting themselves and changing the way they look. And now I think, no, you know what? It's really freaking hard to be a woman. Yeah. And it's really freaking hard to be a woman over 50 because we really get dismissed from the table. We have like a weird sort of period between your J-Lo looking fabulous and then Betty White. And there's kind of like a dead zone between the two. So I'm trying to fill that dead zone.
Yeah. She made a lot. She's right. She's absolutely right.
There's this huge gap.
There is a huge gap where those women are still incredibly viable. I mean, you know, come on. Poroskova also talked about the death of her husband, car singer Rick Ocasek, and revealed she was cut out of his will. Look at this.
But the real shock came when Poriskova, who says she put all of her modeling earnings into the marriage, learned she'd been cut out of her husband's will, along with 2 of his children from an earlier marriage.
It's made the grieving process really, really tricky because I would love to just be able to be sad and miss him and not also feel this incredible hurt at his betrayal.
You feel betrayed?
Oh yeah, I feel betrayed.
Yeah, I bet. I heard so many conversations between women about this story. It really resonated with folks. Paulina says she has no idea why she was cut from the will. They were separated, but not divorced when he died. There's footage. She went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction of the Cars months before he passed away, and she's crying and happy.
Yeah.
Dirty.
It doesn't sit well.
No, it does not. This does sit well. Our next guest is one of the most popular stars in Hollywood, known for dramas like Lone Survivor, comedies like Ted, and action movies like The Transformers. I could go on, but we got to talk to him. Mark Wahlberg is combining drama, comedy, and action in his new movie, Spencer Confidential. Look at this.
Okay. Look, Wonderland is basically like an abandoned fortress, all right? And there's pretty much only one way in, right here. It's the middle of the day. There's not a lot of places to hide. We're gonna have to get Henry out of the way. But I got a plan. It's a little unconventional. You're gonna have to trust me. No. You don't get the cool gun.
Hawk is the name of a shotgun. Spencer does your taxes.
That was good. I'll give you that one.
Give a very warm Minnesota welcome to Mark Wahlberg, everybody. Good morning, Mark.
Thank you. How are you, sir?
Good, Mark. How you doing?
Excellent. Excited to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. What is it now at this point in your career? I rattle off just a few of your films. What is it now that brings you to the table? Is it a direction of a character that you've never had before? Is it a challenge in the plot? What is it that attracts you now to a script this point in your career?
I think it's all of those things. I want to try to do different things. I want to be challenged and stretch. I want to work with really talented filmmakers. But I normally kind of the basic requirements are finding a movie that I would want to see and that I think people would want to see me in. And then usually it's the complete opposite of the last thing I was doing. So having done, serious dramas, it's nice to go and do something with some comedic elements and have a little bit more fun.
You play Spencer. Tell me a little bit about him.
Here's a guy who was a police officer. He couldn't stand by to see injustice. He knew that his superior officers were kind of burying a homicide investigation, so he took the law into his own hands. He ends up in prison because of it. Here's a guy who did 5 years in state prison in general population, which is very, very difficult for somebody in law enforcement to do. And when he gets out, his plan is to leave town, but he realizes that these same things are happening and people are still being victimized, so he decides that he's going to start poking his nose into places where they don't belong, which ends up, getting him beaten up more than normal. But, every time he does, he gets a little bit more information, and it makes for a lot of laughs and also a very compelling story.
Mark, your director on this is a frequent collaborator of yours, Peter Berg. What is it? He's one of my favorites. I think he's just one of the best. What is it about Peter that makes him such a good director?
Well, he was an actor first. He's just a great storyteller. So, he and I started our film journey together with Lone Survivor, and we created a real bond that I would kind of compare to a brotherhood. And since then, we've been committed to working together and pushing and challenging each other. We really expect the best from one another, and we know how to extract that. This is the first time that we got to make a movie that was a little more lighthearted and have a little bit more fun.
Absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, you guys filmed part of this in the neighborhood you grew up in, right, Mark?
Not only in the neighborhood, but on the street where my childhood home is. Directly across the street. We used the house where Alan Arkin's character lives. That was 24 Pemberton Street. I grew up on 25. And talk about coming full circle. It was pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Finally, we have to go. But Minnesota supports you, man. We go to the Wahlburgers at the Mall of America every chance we get.
Likewise, I was there for the grand opening, and I look forward to coming back soon. I love Minnesota.
We love you. Mark, thank you. Continued success, my friend. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Spencer Confidential will be available to stream on Netflix Friday, March 6th. I wanted to try to get him, I wanted to try to make him smile once. He's so serious, and I love that about him, but I know, he scares the bejeebies out of me. I thought I was gonna, anyway.
He's gonna just beat you up or beat somebody up for you.
I love him, though, because he's my generation, and I owned that Marky Mark VHS workout tape when I was a teenager. You don't know about it, yeah. No, it was one of the, watching that tape was one of the first moments I went, do I like girls? Anyway.
I can't follow that up at all.
Yeah, no, don't try it. Okay, here we go. Hey, here's the deal. Next up, on Friday, I showed support for my friend Elizabeth Reese, host of Twin Cities Live. She's on my radio show on my Talk 107.1 after she was body shamed in a social media post by another woman. The conversation about this hasn't stopped all weekend. I will say I'm not being Jason goofy, overly dramatic. I told my buddy Jeff, I said, other than Alexis's birth, and I mean this, I've rarely had a topic that more people approached me about. I was out and about a lot this weekend, and women came up to me and wanted me to pass along the best to Elizabeth. If you missed it, I don't even want to give power to this woman's words, but she basically body shamed Elizabeth, telling her to wear longer shirts to cover up her butt, saying she was a bad role model for fitness. And I think it resonated with women and people because I think a lot of us have been in this position. I shared mine on Friday. There's a guy that hates me and says I look like a potato, and he dresses potatoes up and takes pictures of them. I now find it funny. But I've had other comments over the years. I've battled with weight. Kendall, it's something that you and I have in common. I've had comments that make me, it ruins my weekends. And you can get 4,000 great comments, but it's the one negative that can really change the trajectory of not only your day, but your life. And I wanted to talk to you as another woman because I don't want to tell your story, but this is sadly nothing new for you.
No, it's not. I mean, I remember my first job where I'd worked so hard to get onto, at that point, Fox Sports North. And my first gig, I posted a photo on social media because that was my job, smiling, standing in my parents' yard, like excited to meet everyone at the state fair. And a lot of people said nice things, some people said not so nice things. And one guy said something that to this day, the comment affects me so much because it's such a personal thing. I have chubby cheeks, like I've had them my whole life. So when someone makes fun of that specific thing, it just irks me. And the whole drive up, I cried. I was on the phone with my mom, like, am I in the wrong industry? I hate this. Can I deal with this? And 7 years later, I still struggle with it. But like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I love my job. I love talking to people. So you just kind of deal with it.
And I just want everybody to think about this. I told Jeff, Elizabeth said a statistic to me today that made me really want to have this conversation on this show. We don't do a lot of heavy topics, but I find this one particularly important. 65% of women that have an eating disorder, 65% can tell you exactly the comment that started it all. Isn't that sad? Mm-hmm. They can pinpoint the mother, the grandmother, the aunt that said, oh, honey, do you really need that piece of cake? Mm-hmm. I bring this up to you because if you are watching, and it's a generational thing too, because I found out today, the woman that wrote Elizabeth is a grandmother. Mm-hmm. Is a grandmother.
Right.
And I think there's a generational thing, an aspect of this too. It used to be all right to say comments like that. So my polite, tough love is this. Before you make a comment to a little girl or to a little boy of like, Sammy, do you really need that McDonald's? Just keep in mind that that could scar that person for the rest of their life and put them on a path to poor self-esteem and worse. So it's a new day and age. I think we should be lifting people up and not shaming them for the way that they look. I think they're, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's why. And I will never understand why the worst comments I read about all of my female friends in broadcasting sadly come from other women. That is something that there aren't enough therapists in the world for me to understand that, but they are. I mentioned Amelia Santinello. I used to have to read emails from her and Robin Robinson here at Channel 9. the worst vitriolic emails come from other women. I wish that wasn't the case. Still ahead, everybody. Thank you for your support, by the way, for Elizabeth. Changing the way we work. Kendall visits The Coven, a co-working space aimed at women. Learn why it's attracting a big following next and later. One woman's story you have to hear. Meet a woman who got healthy and lost more than 100 pounds and why she was inspired to do it by Walt Disney. You'll find out why when we come back. Back after this, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. Brand new week, brand new month. Hello, Mark. Well, the way people work is much different than it used to be. Instead of clocking in at the office like Jane Fonda did on 9 to 5, people are working from home now, but they still need the occasional space for meetings and other type of things. That makes community workspaces more popular than ever. And one local workspace is aimed at women specifically. Kendall takes us to The Coven.
Tell me and everybody at home a little bit about what The Coven is.
We open as a space to really hold the magic and energy that happens when women come together in community. We not only just offer workspace, but we offer a place for folks to really step into their power, gaining financial literacy, skills, or being able to ask for a raise in their job. We really equip folks with the tools that they need to be successful in their careers or small businesses.
You haven't been getting attention just in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I mean, Cosmo did an interview with you. You were in Forbes.
There's a lot happening in the Midwest, and most of the time we get ignored as flyover country or underdog cities. And I think what is unique about our space is that we really truly care about being a part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and there's so much ingenuity happening here in the Twin Cities that most people don't know about. We like to be a mouthpiece and a beacon for that and really shine a light on what our members are doing. It's less about like the beautiful space and more about the people that fill it. The reason why we've been getting such national attention about it is most people don't think about us as like the Twin Cities as a place for innovation, and we truly are. One of the ways that we create equity in our space is helping folks get access to it. So for every 5 paid members, we gift one to someone in the community, and we prioritize folks from underrepresented backgrounds. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So wait, so 5 people that come and pay for their, just like you would at WeWork, something people have probably heard of.
Sure.
One person gets to be a member.
Exactly.
That's
that
really neat.
really provides a space with socioeconomic diversity, meaning like we have folks who are community organizers sitting next to VPs of banks, and they're collaborating and coming up with new ideas and ways of working. And I think it's just such a interesting environment that doesn't exist anywhere else in the Twin Cities.
Because I'm geeking out right now.
Yay!
I'm like, can you guys just come do my house? I'm sure my husband wouldn't mind the pink floors.
No, probably not. Probably not.
It'd be fine.
Pink linoleum was like our first business decision here. In our Minneapolis location, we have pink grout.
That should always be the first business decision. What kind of pink linoleum?
Exactly. Where can we put the pink? Yeah, exactly.
We talked about the business side of things.
Yeah.
Erin, now we're talking about the space.
Yeah.
Is your background in interior design?
It is not technically, like I'm not educated in it. My one talent is that I have really great friends and really great, hopefully taste to kind of bring all of this together. Yeah.
They're very sweet about it. Okay,
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about Shishi doing some of the wall work, but there's also some custom mosaics over in here that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
It's insanely beautiful.
This is with Mercedes. She owns Mercury Mosaics, which is an extraordinary women-owned business. This is the power of the community that we're creating. Mercedes reached out to us and said, I love what you're doing. How can I be a part of it?
There's even stuff back here and back here.
Yeah, so we have our community kitchens, and then back here we have our Audra Lord room. That room is meant to be really flexible. Folks can use it for brainstorming, and it's also where we've piloted our childcare services. On the lower level down here, we also have some amenities that matter a lot to our prime demographic. So we have a parent and prayer room, so we make sure that we have a tucked away space for parents who may want to, kind of squirrel away, and any of our members who may have a daily prayer or meditation practice. We have a self-care space that's stocked with products for all skin and hair types. So regardless of who you are, you walk in and you see yourself in the products, and that you know that you can use them and that you can feel comfortable and seen in the space. What it means to feel seen and visible and celebrated in a space needs to be reflected on not just the furniture, not just the color of the walls, but the art that's hanging, the books that are on our shelves. We really are thoughtful about kind of all of those pieces, so our members feel the best and truest kind of version of themselves when they're in here.
I feel like the best, truest version of myself.
So glad.
I think I'll just be moving in.
Great.
So that room looks good.
Yeah, sounds good.
You can take it from here, Eric.
Kendall joins me now. That's great because When you think of shared workspaces, you think of basically cubicle farms, and nothing against a cubicle farm, but this takes it to the next level.
Whole new level. So we spoke, you saw 2 of the women out of the 4 that founded the first location in Minneapolis in the North Loop. Now they have this new location in St. Paul, and it is so beautiful. Every room is named after a famous person. Like there's the Oprah viewing room, there's like the Barbara room. I mean, so everything is so well thought out and intentional with making people feel empowered. It's really, really cool. Like I can't speak enough of how awesome the experience was.
And it's beautiful. Like I would want to go to work. I mean, the space is so beautiful.
I said the same thing. I was like, if I didn't have a desk job, girl, I'd be in line. Like, please, can I come?
Absolutely. I just want to live in that self-care room.
Seriously.
To learn more about the Coven and their workspaces, as Kendall said, there's 2 locations in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Check out, it's at the bottom of your screen, thecoven.com. After the break, we're opening up the Jason Show mailbag to see what you guys have to say this week. Back after this. Stay with us. Beautiful. Welcome back. Welcome back. Monday. Well, it is time. It is time to answer your questions about our show. We're opening up the Jason Show mailbag. Roll it, Leo. There we go.
You got mail.
So our first one, this is our chance to respond to what you're talking about on our social media pages. So first up, let's see what we have there, Kendall. Karen. Hi, Karen. Karen says, hey, Jason, are you aware we always hear what you whisper in Kendall's ear at the beginning of the show? Sometimes I wonder if you really know that. I love the show. So if you're not aware, this is the moment at the start of every show that Karen is referring to when I hug Kendall. Yes, I am aware actually that you guys can hear me. There's actually, I will tell you, there's a lot of inside jokes that kind of go into the show. I share some of them. This is one that I will share with you. When I tell Kendall happy birthday, it is a little bit of shade, just a little bit, because we received, and she really did mean well, but I do have to explain this. The woman wrote me right after the passing of my stepfather, and she goes, do you know that you totally forgot Kendall's birthday? And I had to politely remind her I was dealing with something a little more important. So now, as a passive-aggressive thing, I now say happy birthday to you every single day of your life. That's right, yeah. So, yeah.
And at least once a week, someone's like, hey, is it your birthday? Happy birthday. And I just go, thanks.
Thanks, yeah. So eventually I'll stop, but I don't know when. Next up, Shale says this. Hi, Shale. What a beautiful name. She says, I watch your show every day. I DVR it, and when I do, it tapes like 3 times. Anyway, my request, Jason, is this. Could you please say the date in your opening? I never know what is the newest show if I can't watch it live. So, you know what? I got to tell you, I will try to add that to my repertoire when I sit down and I say hello to Coon Rapids or Anoka. Right. I will try to give the date. I will do that now just to help you out.
It's hard. Like if you have a DVR or YouTube TV, it records every episode. So you're like, is the latest one the latest one? Oh no, it's from 2 years ago.
Well, and I think Kelly and Ryan do that. I think, and Regis used to. They used to say it's, I can hear Regis saying it's Thursday, January 17th, so maybe I'll start saying that. Joe is up next. Hey, Joe. He says, hey, Jace, you suggested Oprah stream all of her older TV shows. How about you guys posting some of your earlier episodes? He continues, I'd love to see your very first show, as well as some of the, no you don't, as some of the earlier segments you and your crew have done. Oh, you know what, that actually, because the first show, I'll give you a little, I don't know how much time we have, but let me give you a little, are we okay? Let me give you a little dish about the very first show. So the Jason Show debuted in 2015? I think in 2015. And people know that I love Katie Couric. I adore Katie Couric. And as the debut approached, our executive producer, Jeff, wanted to surprise me by getting Katie on the show, by having her call in. Well, it was what, Jeff, 30 minutes before we went live? They kept saying no, 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 no. Less than 30 minutes before we went live for our very first show, Jeff got confirmation that Katie was going to call in, so they had to change everything on the fly, and the very opening to the very first Jason Show had an impromptu surprise by Katie Couric.
Your ex-wife.
My ex-wife, that's right, yeah. But the rest
cool.
the rest of the shows, I don't know if you want to see the early days. There was,
That's really cool, though. That is cool.
Our very first fair show featured the very first Fair show. We were on the air for a week. We had no teleprompter, no video, and I had to talk for 8 minutes with nothing, and that was glorious.
Oh,
Vanette writes to me, hi Vanette, has a question actually for Kendall. What color and kind is Kendall's lipstick color?
Oh, yes.
You get this all the time.
I do. I have MAC. It's M-E-H-R. I've heard it pronounced Mare and Myrrh. Either way, it's just sort of like rhubarbish color. And then I use the Soar lip liner from MAC, and then I just put a clear gloss over it.
And that's it. You get asked this probably more than anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, at least like 2 or 3 times a week.
Well, because it's beautiful. There we go. Thanks again for all your messages and questions. Still to come, an inspiration for anyone trying to shed a few pounds or just get healthy. Meet a woman who lost more than 100 pounds in just a few years and what finally led to her changing her life. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us. Love this story. Welcome back, everybody. Talking about getting healthy. Getting healthy. Well, and on that topic, our next guest has quite the story. Over the last few years, she's dropped more than 100 pounds and has become a distance runner in the process. Please welcome Sydney Wolf, everybody. Hi, Sydney.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We'll get to the marathon in a minute. I'm very excited to geek out with you. But I can also relate. I don't know if you heard the earlier segment. A lot of us on this show, we all have struggled with weight. It'll probably be something I struggle with my entire life. I had a moment in February of last year where I said I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. What was that moment for you?
In 2016 is when I started my weight loss journey, and I think I had a similar moment where it just was like I had had enough. I realized I think I was taking care of everyone else in my life instead of myself.
Yeah.
So I was at the highest weight I had ever been, 310 pounds. I just couldn't move. I couldn't breathe, everything. And so it started with diet first. I started going to Weight Watchers. After that, I got help from a therapist who helped me work through, my therapist Brenda helped me work through why am I eating and what is behind it. And then after that, went into the gym for the first time. And then through that, my fitness journey has just grown and grown. And now I work with my trainer at Bodies by Burgoon, and
yeah,
here
because
I am.
I think people that don't have this as a struggle don't understand. You can go to the gym and you can lose the weight, but you know where I'm going. There's always something underneath it. You have to figure out why are you replacing dealing with feelings with food? Why are you stuffing your feelings?
Oh, being overweight is not, you're not overweight just because you're overweight or just because you're fat.
Not because you like Doritos.
It's always a symptom of something else. So really figuring out what is it underneath it that's causing that and getting to the root of your cause. So healing yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically. You can't just solve one piece of the puzzle.
Because it'll come back.
Of course it will.
If you do it without doing the hard work, I actually think the mental is the harder work of the two.
Oh, absolutely. The physical side of it, and our trainers at Bodies by Burgoon always say it's 20% fitness, 80% everything else: diet, mental, exercise, emotional health.
Yeah.
All of that combined.
So you've lost. So you started in 2016.
Yep.
And you've lost how much?
114 pounds to date.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
No.
When you say the number.
Oh, it's just nuts. It's so crazy. And the hardest part about weight loss is like you said, the mental game.
That's another person. I heard Oprah say it all the time. You've lost a person.
I was watching Cheer on Netflix. It's literally a cheerleader.
Yes.
Cheer.
It's 1.5. It's a kitty. Literally. Yes.
I know. So when you start thinking through it that way, it's like, finally getting over the body dysmorphia and coming to terms with like, this is my new life. This is it.
Well, the producers knew that I couldn't wait to meet you because was this a goal? Or tell everyone.
So in 2010, I went on a college trip to Disney, and I worked there at the Disney Princess Half Marathon with my college friends. And I remember being overweight at the time, thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to run. I want to be in the race, but instead I was just working gear check. And it was never imaginable. So I've never stopped thinking about the race. And so when I started finally losing weight, I worked with my therapist, and it was like, you should do the race. You should do the half marathon. And at the time, it was insane. I never could have imagined doing that. But, I registered, pushed myself to do the first one, and now I just got back for my 3rd time doing it.
And you're looking at pictures right now from Run Disney's Princess Marathon.
Yeah, so this last weekend, they have what they call the Fairy Tale Challenge, and so you do the 5K, the 10K, and the half marathon in 3 back-to-back days at Walt Disney World, and so that's what I did this last week.
You did the back-to-back-to-back-to-back?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, these are all, if you're wondering, these are all her medals right here.
So this is like the big guy of the medals. You get this for doing all of the races. So of course at Disney, you get extras along the way. So the medal rotates and it's all themed. So it's unbelievable. You get to run through Magic Kingdom and Epcot and everyone is dressed up.
I'm like a baby with a mobile. I'm mesmerized by that.
It's amazing.
What was this? Take me to the moment, because, you know, I was sharing, and the audience knows this. Like you, I have never done a fitness race.
Yeah.
I said the only K I've ever run is to Kmart. You know what I mean? And so I'm finally, my best friend Jen and I set a goal like you did.
Yeah.
We are doing the Princess next year.
In 2021, yeah.
Take me to the moment where you, having lost Kenny, take me to the moment where you crossed the finish line. What is that like? I think, you know, the starting line was almost more emotional, I think, for the finish line, because I just was working yourself up to that moment of crossing the starting line, looking around. There's 20,000 people that do the Princess Half Marathon, and you're in this sea of people, and you just can't believe you're doing it. But then getting across the finish line, my body hurt, so all I could think about was sitting down. Well, you did back-to-back-to-back races.
But yeah, it's super emotional. And it's still I mean, they say every mile is magic at the Disney races, but it's true. I mean, there's so many stories and people of all ages and abilities and fitness levels, and it's just to see the stories that come out of the weekend. It's truly magical.
People always say, you know, maintaining is sometimes harder than the initial. How is it going maintaining?
Good, and I'm still definitely in my weight loss journey. I think my ultimate goal is to lose a total of 130 pounds. So I'm still working towards that. I think, you know, weight loss is hard. It's, you know, that every day you're gonna go up and down, and you're gonna have good weeks and you're gonna have bad weeks, but as long as you're consistent, you have enough good days in a row over a certain amount of time, you're gonna be successful.
Will you come back again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I brought you a gift. Run Jason.
Look at that!
13.1 in 2021.
Oh,
so there you go.
Look at this!
Fresh from Disney World.
Now I have to do it. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Give it up for Cindy, everybody. We'll post this segment on our Facebook page. Just search for Jason Show TV. We will be right back. Stay with us, everybody. Cindy! This is my new favorite ear.
So glad.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so good to meet you.
So good to meet you. Welcome back, everybody. Kendall's back. It's been an accidental theme of today's show about empowerment. How motivational and inspirational was Sydney? That's great.
That was awesome. And like to have the mindset to be able to get it done too, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And again, the message too is, I don't care if you want to get healthy. It's about being healthy. I don't care if you want to lose 14 or 114. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. And I love this. I love this,
so
running
great.
13.1 in 2021.
Hey.
Now I really have, like I said, now I really have to do the race. Yeah. Hey, if you want tickets to come see our show, it's very easy. Just go to our Facebook page, click that ticket tab right underneath the cover photos. We do have seats available for the rest of this week. You never know when it's going to be a mug day. You never know when I'm going to bring breakfast. I could give you a pony. You never know.
Might show up.
That's right. Get those tickets. We'll be right back to wrap up the show today. Stay with us, everybody. 13.1, 2021. Happy birthday. Welcome back, everyone. Today, I'm really excited. We've been talking about this for a while. It's a segment that I've been wanting to do called Fancy Food Field Trip. I always, you know, I'm very lucky this show affords all of us the opportunity to go to things and eat food that not a lot of people get to. I wanted to share that with folks, at the same time get people out of their comfort zone.
Right.
So we asked you to nominate folks that maybe give to other people but never do anything for themselves. So right after the show today, I'm going for our first fancy food field trip where we're taking a mother who doesn't do a lot of stuff for herself. We're treating her to a lunch at one of my favorite restaurants. She's going to try food she's never, ever tried before. Stephanie Hansen's going to do some Dr. Phil on her, like telling her that she has to do more for herself. So you'll see that in a future episode of our show. Speaking of our show, tomorrow, Airport Eats. If you're going somewhere for spring break, Stephanie Hansen will break down her picks for the best foods at MSP. That's tomorrow. Thanks to this incredible audience. I love them for a Monday, man. They're great. If you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied or a woman that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.